Okay guys, I'm back. We're a little bit low on the lighting, but it is to be held because one of the things that I don't like to do is have a lot of bright lights, because my infusions actually trigger migraines for me. So besides having my asthma that likes to trigger, it also triggers migraines. So it's just one of the side effects. However, what I am going to do is I have a few things that's going on right now. I have my CGM is going off because my Omnipod, as I was in the shower, it came off. I usually wear it, I wear it where I wear it. It reads, I don't wear it on my arms. My arms, for some strange reason, is a lot more sensitive. All of my things that have adhesives that's not by the company that I use have to be worn on my abdomen or my thighs, because that's the only place that I can put these things. So let's get started. So my setup is here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but my setup is right there. But I also have a side setup, and that's here, that I'm gonna have, and this is with my CGM and all of those things. I'm not really sure how to incorporate it, but there you go. That's with my CGM, my pump, my Omnipod. I also have Tylenol. These are my prophylactics, Benadryl, and my inhaler. So I also have my insulin here. So what I will do before I even start my infusion is I'm going to do all of my prophylactic stuff, as we call it. Only because I'm highly allergic to, I'm allergic to myself, people. My allergies are what my allergies are. But I know that I can start my pump, my infusion of fluids. I can do that now. So what I'm gonna do is because it's already ready to go, I am going to reach across the bed and do that. So that involves turning this so I can see it. I power it back on, and I take this here, this part. I recheck. I make sure that what needs to be out is out. And then I will have it do like a little drippity drip. And that's only because I need a little bit more air out of the line than what is here. So it's asking me about my last infusion. I'm going to say no, only because I would like to do a little bit of a prime, or maybe not. I may not be able to. I have fluids in, where is that? Oh, here. I always keep as a spare extra fluids here, so that if I have to add to my line to get bubbles out, I can. And this is what, in essence, I've drawn this off earlier, off camera, and I use that in essence to do what I just did. So in essence, this line now is fully primed. I take a spot of alcohol. I go back to my little piece here. I disconnect. I wipe with alcohol. I attach, because this is where my LR is going to be going in, and because it's going against my heart, it has to be on the pump. I take the cap. I always like to re-wipe it. I go back to my line. I wipe the lower one, but then I like to go up to the higher one, wipe it, and then I add my cap to the higher one versus the lower one, and leave that to stay there. There are a couple of bubbles in the line, but that will resolve itself. So then I go into where it says anesthesia. I hit OK. I tell it I want to do fluids, and then I find the fluids I'm doing, which is LR or lactate ringer solution. I tell it OK, and then I tell it what I want to do. So I don't put the rate ever. I just go down to volume to be given, and then I make that. Today it's going to be 500, and then I do another 500 tomorrow. So 500 ml. So that would be 500 mLs. And then I tell it well, I want to sit here for 3.5 hours. I don't want to sit here for longer. So I'll tell it 3 hours and 30 minutes. And then I'll say okay. And then that will automatically calculate my volume, my rate. And then I will tell it start. And after I tell it start, it will tell me, hey, chick, you didn't unlock your line. What you gonna do here? And it'll start beeping. But I'll unlock that line, and then I unlock this one. So once these are unlocked, it will start pumping. As you can see, the drip is going over on this end, and now it is pumping my fluids, my hydration, into my heart through my port. That is where it's doing. And so that's done. While that's going, I will do my inhaler. I like to hold it for 10 seconds. And I usually do 2 puffs. That was the first. This is a dry powder inhalation because the aerosol kind would actually cause my throat to close up. Okay, so my inhaler is done. Now I have to take some Tylenol. I take 1,000 milligrams for this infusion. I don't like to take so much, but it is what it is. I usually take it with 10 cc's or 10 mLs, so 20 mLs of Benadryl. For an adult, you can take 10 mLs up to, I think, 20 mLs. I normally take 10 liquid. I have gotten to be an old hand at this. I do it the military way, which is a quick swig. Tylenol. Benadryl. And it's disgusting. I don't care what anyone says. Bubblegum flavored Benadryl is absolutely disgusting. Ugh. And then I take a long drink of water. So that's my prophylactics are done prior to me actually infusing. So my next step is to get things moving for me to what do you call it? I need to set up. I have to do my thighs. So my G7 was on this thigh the last round for 10 days. So now I switch it from this thigh to the other thigh. And I like to find a good meaty section is where it's going to end up getting applied. So let's get that done really fast. And I have this because it's on my phone. I'm gonna tell it I'm starting a new one. I'm gonna use the camera to scan. And the cool thing about the G7, even with the G6, you can use your cell phone. All right, it likes you to go, you know, I don't know if you guys can see that. It likes you to go into your arm. I've tried that in the past, and all I've ever had is loss of skin because my skin literally deteriorates completely. And I discovered that the skin on my leg happens to be a lot tougher than the skin anywhere else. So now I'm going to place alcohol where I want my sensor to go. And then I'm also going to wipe the other thigh. This is where my G7 was. So I like to go either above where the old placement was or below. I think for this pump and placement, I'm going a little bit below. No, I'll go a little bit below. And the reason why I'm doing that is I want this skin here to heal. And, you know, clearly you can see on my port side, on my port, it was still kind of red and bruised. That's because I'm healing slow post-dengue. Complications was I have a reduction of platelets, red count, elevated whites, and all of that has just made it so that things are just rough, for lack of better. So now that I got that done, I'm going to insert. And then I like to check the top, because I have learned that if the top still has a piece sticking up, that means this sucker ain't gonna work. And I'll be taking this off and redoing it. And this adhesive on this it's ridiculous. So it's already have it on place. I am going to go ahead and add this, which I don't like this sticker. I don't know what they have it made out of, but it tends to grab every bit of dust, lint, and whatever on it. And it is a bit infuriating, because you're thinking since it's a top cover that it wouldn't be so bloody sticky, but it actually is quite sticky. And this is still quite sticky, so I guess it's the residue coming off of this to apply that. It makes everything just really, really sticky. Go back to my phone, and then I'm going to tell it to start, that it's inserted. It already has my code there, and now it's going to go ahead and do what it's going to do. And it's going to sync this up to my phone, like it'll pop up on the window. It's telling it to pair. I'm going to say go ahead and pair, and that's going to allow for it says sensor is paired. So now it's going to take 26 minutes for this sensor to heat up. While that's going, I'm going to do my next step, which is go to my other app that's on here, which is my Omnipod, use my fingerprint to unlock it, and then I am going to go backwards. I'm not going to set up a new pod yet, but instead I'm going to go here and say manage sensor, and then I'm going to tell it to add new, and then I'm going to take a photo just like I did in the other one, and I am going to add this one to this to marry up with my new Omnipod. So it just took it. Once everything is done, it will automatically pair up. So in 26 minutes, it will be good to go. So I'll press pod info. It says no pod active. So then I'm gonna say, okay, let's set up a new pod. And then I'm going to open this. Take this part, these two parts out, and this is a little needle. Pop the cap off, put it off to the side. Again, I go through overabundance of cotton swabs. I'll bring out a couple of sets because I still have more to do with over there. So take that off. I will take a swab, get some alcohol on it. I always tap my wrist just to make sure I have enough because my sensations are not the greatest. I clean my insulin. I'm weird. I like to draw the vial or the needle. I place it into my vial at an angle and I push air in, turn it upside down, and then pull it and then draw the insulin. And I don't know, I just do that with all vials because it helps eliminate the air bubbles for me. And then once I've done that, I draw 200 units or 200 cc's of insulin, and I put my cover back on and I insert that into here. There's a little hole, I insert the needle in, and I go until I hear a beep. There's my beep. And once I have my beep and I have inserted all the insulin, I take my sharp You do what you want. Safety says don't recap, but I always recap this only because my sharps container is on the other end, and I'll dispose of the sharps over there once I'm done with everything else. Now that this has already said what it said, I tell it, hey, it's played its music. And now I'm gonna hit next. And I like to hit next and put my phone right next to the pod so that it has no means of not communicating. And then it's going to prime it. And right now it's clicking because it's priming. Guys, these videos are long, I apologize. But this is my Dexcom setup, I guess you guys could say, or all my other setups. We'll see. I'll have to maybe shorten these all up into shorter little vids. But this is pretty much my routine every 2 weeks. My G7 gets changed every 10 days. And I do my infusion every 14 days. So usually they don't always marry up like they are now. But like I said, because today was a very scrubby day, as I put it, I managed to knock off the sensor, which is something I have done often. Another reason why I don't like wearing it on my arm is that I have had it to where I put a sensor on and I'm walking and I don't have the greatest steady walk most days, and I bump into a wall or something and it peels it clean off. And it takes not only the sensor off, but it takes a layer of skin. So I got to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to put my G7 there. It reads perfectly fine where I put it. It's just wherever I can get a signal, as they say. All right, so this is primed. Now I'm going to tell it, because I like to record my site. I always record where I'm placing it. And then I place it. Now I am funny. I have sometimes when I'm tired, like the last time I replaced this, which was 3 days ago. These are replaced every 3 days for me. Every 2 to 3 days, because I go through insulin a lot. I was laughing because I had done what I was supposed to do. I put my little sensor on or whatever, and my goofy self went through all of my steps to include putting it on, but I had forgot to prime. And what I learned is that even though I was wearing it already, I was actually able to prime it. So I normally just drop it because I'm weird like that. I find like that works best for me, and then I go around and I play around with the outer, just like I did with this one. This one, there's no dropping, but this one I just drop on because I find that that's best for me. And then I tell it start. My old site is here, and this is below the site. And then pod is securely placed. I tell it yes. And then it's going to give me another jab that I'm gonna truly hate. That stung. I don't always, guys, I'm not gonna lie, because I have Guillain-Barré, and I suffer also from some spinal cord stuff. The prick went in, it checks to see if I see what I need to see. I tell it yes, and then I tell it to switch to automated mode. You hear it clicking. So what it will do is my G7 will continue to warm, and as it warms up, it will automatically, everything will sync. So those are those things. Now I have to go get on to the other stuff. Oh, and what I was gonna say was, one of the things that I've noticed for me, did I just lose my train of thought? Oh my gosh, I did. Well, it wasn't important, guys. There was something about this. Oh, my nerve thing. So I don't always, when I put my sensors on, depending on what body part or where I'm at on the body, I don't have full sensation everywhere. And then I have over or hyper sensations in other places. And the reason why is because of my form of Guillain-Barré that I have, it makes it so it's not like a peripheral nerve thing. It's where my axons, which are the center part of the nerve or the neuron, is degrading or breaking apart, but the lining, the outer part, is still there. The sheath, as they say, or the syntax is still there. So signals kind of go, but the thing that's actually translating what that is, the axon, is not really there. So I get intermittent sensations. I get intermittent capabilities with my limbs. I don't have, I can contract this thigh, but I can't contract this thigh. If that makes sense. I can tell my leg to contract and make it contract, but I can't do the same thing with this leg. So yeah, that's just one of the defects. But I can contract my knee a little bit on this side, but I can contract the thigh on this one, but I can't fully contract the thigh on this one. I can move the hamstrings, quadricep muscles, and a few other muscles up here I don't have full control over. My calf muscles and hamstrings, or what, my calf muscles I have relative control over, but you know, it is what it is. All right, now that everything that I've just done is done, I like to clean up. This goes into the trash. This I keep off to the side just in case there's an error. So that goes off to the side, and I keep that until I switch out into my next G7. And then on my phone, everything's gonna keep going on the phone until everything's warmed up. So that's the end of that step. Now I take my insulin, I put it back in my rescue kit. This rescue kit is my kit of all necessary supplies, medical, for me. And in this I keep my insulin, my inhaler, which I'm gonna put back in here. I also have Baqsimi, which is an inhaler. It's an emergent inhaler for hypoglycemia, or low blood sugar. I've never used it, even though I got to the point where I was supposed to. I think the requirement is if I get below 60, I'm supposed to use this or some crap, like something like that. Man, I've been down to 45 on my sugar level, 30 on my sugar level, and I did not use this. I felt like garbage. I went and found something to eat and drink that gave me quick sugar. I also keep sugar tablets with me. I have 2 in here. This has my bandages in it, and then it has 4 EpiPens, which I have to have while I'm doing this. And then I always keep in my backpack, since it doesn't fit in here, Benadryl. I always keep Benadryl and such with me. All right, that's the end of this one. I will see you guys shortly to do the next one. Bye for now.